They have the same rhetoric. And we would sort of get lampooned by commentators who would say like, well, what do you think? Do you think all these people get in a room and they decide all this together? And even we would kind of balk at that a little bit and say, no, 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 we think like they have shared interests, they have shared education. That's why they talk that way. You use the word cabal there. That's one of the things that becomes really clear in the Epstein files. Jeffrey Epstein is at the center, or at least a part of the center, of communications between these powerful interests. It's people in, my space, the higher education space, your space, the higher education space, like, Larry Summers and Steven Pinker and Noam Chomsky, all over MIT and Harvard. It's the financial elites, whether it be like Reid Hoffman or Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, all those kinds of folks. They're in the political elites, like you pointed out, both parties, obviously, most notably Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, but also global elites. They're talking to the Russians, they're talking to the Israelis, Slovakia, the United Kingdom, the European Union, all those folks as well. And the intelligence communities, the Central Intelligence Agency, Russian intelligence, and Israeli intelligence are all over these files as well. And again, Epstein's at the middle. And this is the part that I think really interests me. This way, I think you're right. It's not going to die. But it's also what, interests me in a way that pisses me off, which is for years when you've brought up like, wasn't it weird Epstein's connected to like someone in academia and someone in intelligence and all these kinds of things. And they would say, no, 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 no. Like he's an interesting guy. And like, he's interested in these like things. He's really smart and he's really rich. Now we know about his wealth. Well, what we know about his wealth, because he changed his will 2 days before he died and gave it to other elites. But he's not like super, super wealthy in the sense that he's like Reid Hoffman level that he could buy all these people. So that wealth story never makes sense. Nor does it make sense how he got the wealth. And then number two, reading through his emails, and not to be like too much of a friggin' teacher here, he's kind of sounds like a dim bulb. I mean, he doesn't really, I mean, he doesn't write in an intelligent way where I'm amazed by him. So I think those connections are a piece. And so the other kind of, I guess they called it a conspiracy theory that people would say is that, Epstein was part of some like blackmail or fixer cabal for the elites. He would get these people who had predilections for sex or money or drugs, and he would catch them in compromising positions. So it could be leverage to get these people to do what they want, right? There is evidence of that in the files. Epstein's openly talking about blackmailing Bill Gates. He's talking to someone about how they need to neutralize this girl who's a whistleblower against business interests and apparently Russian business interests. There's a lot of talk in here about asking about whether or not they tortured someone. There's talk about like trafficking women. In fact, there's torture videos that are referenced that even Epstein and Maxwell found so disgusting. They asked whoever this anonymous person was to stop sending them to them. Uh, I think just the weight of the international cabal narrative is much heavier than this like, yeah, random, interesting kind of wealthy guy who just talks to people.
Yeah. I mean, totally. And I mean, he is just, I think just a highly manipulative person, and also just very, very good at doing the things that people, moving money or making connections that, yeah, it's just, if, if you want to have, I'm thinking about people who were, yeah, so many, people that I don't think were involved in the sex part of the crimes, but like thought very highly of Jeffrey Epstein. And it's just, maybe that's that, those sort of devilish characters that just have charisma, and they like the vampires that entrance you. I mean, or the just the usefulness of of his contacts and his money. Yeah, not even that he was that rich, but just if you had money, if you were rich and you had money that you wanted to move, he could do it. Or if you needed to get into a country that was, not an ally of your country, he could do it. Or was yeah, he was really yeah, I think it's I don't know, it's hard to really wrap my head around. And even it is a little depressing to think that the elite class, I think Ro Khanna has called it, Ro Khanna, the representative from California, who's really spearheaded this these releases of these
With
documents.
with Thomas Massey, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's coined it the Epstein class, and just like how immoral they are, and just like what has happened in society where we create these, yeah, soulless, like you just do, like you hang out or you even commit these crimes against other humans.